Hey everyone, Fox here. You ever working on a project that has lots of different angles and corners that you gotta sand into? You can't fit your orbital into it, the flex on the scraper to get what you need, and hand sanding is just gonna take too long? Well, I finally picked up a tool that I've been looking at for a while, and even though it's not my normal green, you may be thinking red might have its place in this shop. Stay tuned to find out more. So today, we're gonna be doing a review of the Milwaukee Orbital detail sander. Now, there is something kind of cool with this because lots of other sanders are out there and you can find them, and most of those are all rotary and they're still circular. So that means in these tight corners, you can't get it in there. You're gonna have to come back by hand. But Milwaukee actually has made an orbital sander with a home base styled base that will allow you to easily get into those corners and sand things a lot faster. So as you can see, this tool is already pretty dusty. I've been using it for about 4 or 5 hours working on different parts of this project. And when I first started looking at this project and a few others that I had recently, like a cigar tray, I was having a difficult time, or I shouldn't say a difficult time, but spending a lot of time trying to sand all those little nooks and crannies in smaller places. Main reason being, if you're gonna get yourself a random orbit sander, they're typically gonna be in the 5-inch or 6-inch variety. I've looked at a few different tools. Now, Rikon does make one that is a circular styled one, with, I believe it's a 2-inch pad, that would be nice to fit in the smaller places, but again, the issue is these corners. You still are gonna have to come back with your hand sanding and be able to get it out with just some sandpaper. And that's where this fits in nicely. With this home base styled base, you actually have a corner that you can get into those tight spaces. Not to mention, it is smaller, so you can fit it in places that your normal sanders may not just quite fit or be really tight to work with. Immediately after picking up and starting to use it, I could see how much handier this could be in a shop, especially doing a lot of fine detail sanding. We also have the ability to fit it into smaller places, and this corner piece to be able to get into those nooks and crannies can be really nice. Now, I didn't get to do an unboxing because I was working on the product, but let me go ahead and show you what's inside the box. So typically, when you end up picking this up, you're gonna find it in 3 different options. Well, really 2. Either as the tool alone, or a kit with the battery and charger. Now on Amazon, I did find a 3rd option that had a carrying case, but that one was hard to get and it was a little bit too expensive for that. Hey everyone, Fox here. So I just want to let you know, I went back on Amazon and they actually now have that 4-pack for sale for $187 and some change. So I'll have links in the description so you can figure out which tool is right for you. Now, for $203, you can actually pick up the kit like I have here that comes with the tool, a couple of the sanding pads, one thinner and one thicker for getting into those hard to reach places or edge work, assortment of sandpaper in different grips ranging from 80 all the way up to 220. When you get the kit also, it'll come with a separate box that has your M12 charger and 2 amp hour battery. Now, I've seen some other kits up there that are going up to $279, $300, and those will come with typically a 3 or 4 amp hour battery. But honestly, I really do like this 2 amp hour battery because of one reason. Though it doesn't last as long as the bigger ones, you can see it doesn't change the profile much on the tool itself. It still maintains the same contour and lines as this handle, which allows you to get into places and move it around a lot easier. When you start going up to the bigger batteries, it starts getting bigger on the end and flaring out, which might cause some issues when you're trying to get into a spot by hitting it. Hey everyone, Fox here. Just want to let you know, if you find these videos helpful and informative for you, please let me know down in the comments, and if you haven't already, please hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. That's the best way to support the channel and the easiest way to stay up to date on the tools that I review. So, why would you want to pick up something like this? Well, like I said in the beginning of the video, tight corners, fine detail work, maybe the inside of bowls, trays, things like that you might be making would be a great option for this. Or maybe you're trying to do some fine detailing and sanding inside where you just don't have the space to get an orbital in there and you need to get into the nooks and crannies a little easier. Now, this thing is pretty powerful for its size, but this is not designed to hog off a bunch of material like one of these guys. But enough of me talking. Let's go ahead and show you how it works. Very easy system to use. You have your normal base plate right here that you can slap your sandpaper on if you need a more rigid surface. Now, the one thing I will show is that this does flex on some of the points and tip, so you are going to get a little flex in it. But you have this softer, thinner pad that you can put right on here. And then attach your sandpaper to. Very simple operation. What you have is a button on the back that all you have to do is press once, and that's going to change your settings. So we're going to go ahead and set it on number 2, and we're going to go ahead and test it out in the box. Now again, because this is so lightweight and easy to use one-handed, you can come from different angles and hold it in different grips. And the trigger is pressure sensitive, so you can lightly push it or pull it for a slower sanding, and the further you go, it's going to go faster. Let's go ahead and increase that speed a little bit. And here is it at max speed. You can hear it humming along pretty well. Now, as you can see in the box here, I do have some lines going up on these sides from doing the hand sanding going this way, because that was the easiest way to get a lot of the glue out of the way. And just with that little bit of sanding, we can see it's starting to get cleaned up. And I'm using 80 grit sandpaper just to try to help remove some of the material faster. But you can work your way from 80 to 120, 180, whatever, to really get this all smoothed up. And really, it's been very nice on doing that. But it's still available, especially in a small place like this, to be able to work on the inside. And with all these flat edges, you're able to get in and get it nice and tight to a wall or a shelf or an edge and really work it by going with the grain back and forth to help remove those tooling marks. And as you can see, I've gotten most of those tooling marks gone. And that's pretty much it. It's a sander and it works. Now, I know I've said a lot of good things, but there are some downsides to it. First of all, when using it, one of the downsides I've noticed is this pad here, this sanding base, though flexible, which is nice to be able to get into certain contours, I wish this tip was a little less flexible. It would be nice to have it more rigid and fixed, so that way you could really keep it nice and in those corners without it bending. A lot of times, instead of using the whole pad, you're having to rock it to the tip and then back, which I've noticed sometimes can cause some little additional scratching that you have to work out later, but it does do the job of getting in that corner and making your job a lot easier. Second, the price. At $203 for the tool and a battery and charger, it's not the most expensive tool out there, but it's also not the most universal tool you're going to spend that money on. It would be a lot easier if you're working in a shop not having to worry about lots of different corners and small areas like this to go ahead and pick yourself up a nice random Orbit, because that's going to be able to be used on a lot of other projects and bigger projects. This is more about those fine focus projects, such as this book holder that I'm making, a cigar tray, a key tray, whatever you're looking at, right? Coin dish. This will help you sand that much faster. So if you are making smaller products like that, or even maybe some turned items where you just want to be able to get in and get around it a lot easier than carrying one of these big guys out, this might be your option. Outside of that, I haven't really found any other complaints on it. The 2 amp hour battery works fine for me. Picking up an additional one would be nice just so I could continue the projects a little bit better and easier, but for what I'm doing on my purposes on this, it's working out really well. Now, of course, as always, down the road, I will be doing a re-updated review on this and telling you how it's handling things and working out. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit that like, subscribe, and notification button, and I'll see you on the next one.